So you're willing to rule against the administration, against Donald Trump's executive orders, if you believe them to be unlawful?
If that's what the law requires, Senator.
Do you agree with Judge Leon's decision that the executive order was unlawful?
That's pending litigation, and it would be very inappropriate for me to express a view on the merits of that litigation or any other active litigation.
In a high-stakes Senate confirmation hearing, House Intelligence Committee member Adam Schiff questions Judicial Nominee Ms. Herrendorf about her ties to the Federalist Society, former President Trump's recent public attacks on conservative legal figures, and the role of law firms opposing the government. If you care about the future of the courts and democracy, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.
I'm sure aware that it was recently said by President Trump, quote, "It was suggested that I use the Federalist Society as a recommending source on judges. I did so, but then realized that they were under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard, a bad person who, in his own way, probably hates America." I want to ask you about this. You're a member of the Federalist Society, correct?
That's correct.
And for how long? For how many years?
I believe I joined in law school, Senator.
So over a decade ago, then.
About a decade.
And were you recommended for a judgeship by the Federalist Society?
I have no knowledge of why I was recommended or whether the Federalist Society had any role.
The Federalist Society does, though, recommend judges to the administration, do they not, or did they not?
I had no involvement in that. I'm not sure. I've seen reporting to suggest they had some involvement, but I have no personal knowledge of that, Senator.
Do you think, having been a member of the Federalist Society for over a decade, that they're under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard Leo? Is that your view?
In my perspective, the Federalist Society has been a wonderful place to get together with the many, many lawyers who are members and learn about the law and discuss issues. Aside from my own experience, as a judicial nominee, I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on any public policy debate about the Federalist Society or the particular quotation you're referencing.
Do you know Leonard Leo?
I've met him a few times at Federalist Society events, but I wouldn't say that I know him well or that he knows me.
Do you concur with the president's assessment that he's a sleazebag?
Again, Senator, that type of interpersonal or political dispute I don't think is appropriate for me to comment on as a judicial nominee, given that either the president or Mr. Leo could come before me as party to a litigation.
You clerked for Judge Richard Leon, did you not, on the district court?
That is correct.
How would you describe Judge Leon?
When I worked for Judge Leon, I had a wonderful experience. I think he was a judge who treated everybody with fairness and impartiality and was wonderful to his law clerks, and it was a very enjoyable year clerking for him.
And he took his responsibility seriously?
In my experience, yes.
And upheld the law and the Constitution, in your view?
We did our best to do so.
You're aware that he ruled against the administration and against the president with respect to the president's executive order against Wilmer Hale?
I am aware.
Do you agree with Judge Leon's decision that the executive order was unlawful?
That's pending litigation, and it would be very inappropriate for me to express a view on the merits of that litigation or any other active litigation.
Well, no, the president has attacked the Federalist Society because the judges it has recommended don't always do what the president wants. Is that the role of a judge? Is that the role of Judge Leon or any other judge? Would that be your role, to do what the president wants?
That would not be my role. My role would be to carry out my oath, which would be to the Constitution first and foremost, and any other laws that bind the rules of decision.
So you're willing to rule against the administration, against Donald Trump's executive orders, if you believe them to be unlawful?
If that's what the law requires, Senator.
You are also an attorney at Williams & Connolly, is that correct?
That's correct.
And they represent Perkins Coie in the executive order case against that law firm, do they not?
I am aware of that fact.
Is it important that law firms be able to represent individuals or causes that are unpopular and that are at times in disagreement with the administration?
So certainly, as a lawyer who represents a client that has views that people don't always agree with, I think it's an important role of an attorney to take on matters no matter the political popularity.
So you think it's appropriate for law firms to take on cases against the administration?
I would not purport to limit any party in the representation that it would choose, and I don't want to be seen as commenting on any of the active litigation involving these issues.
And would you agree that it would be inappropriate for a president or administration to try to punish a law firm for taking on a client whose interest was adverse to the administration?
So, Senator, you're referencing, I believe, the pending litigation, and again, I've articulated why it's important for clients to have law firms.
I'm not referencing any particular case. I'm asking you as a general principle, should the President of the United States be able to retaliate against the law firm that takes a case for a client whose interest is adverse to the administration?
Again, embedded in the premise of that question is something that is referencing active litigation, and I just as a matter of prudence don't want to be seen as weighing in either way on whether that has occurred in any of these executive order cases. I stand by my answer that it is, of course, the role of a lawyer to represent clients consistent with the bounds of the law and ethics, and that's what I've tried to do in my role.
Trump is no longer aligned with some of the legal institutions that helped him build his judicial legacy. That tension could reshape the future of judicial nominations. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the politics behind the courts. Schiff shifts gears to Judge Richard Leon, Herrendorf's former boss. Leon famously ruled against the Trump administration, a move some saw as defying expectations for a Trump-appointed judge. Herrendorf praises Leon's integrity, stating he ruled with fairness and took his constitutional duties seriously. Schiff asks directly, "Would you rule against the administration if the law required it?" Herrendorf says yes. Her oath is to the Constitution, not to any president. Journalists take, "This moment matters." It's a reminder that good judges aren't political operatives. They follow the law, even when it clashes with the administration that appointed them. Like this breakdown? Hit subscribe and share it with someone who values judicial independence. Schiff presses further, asking whether law firms, like Herrendorf's own, should be punished by the government for representing clients who oppose the administration. The context is a case involving Williams and Connolly and Perkins, Coie, targeted by a Trump executive order. Herrendorf carefully avoids commenting on pending litigation, but she defends the principle that lawyers must be free to take on politically unpopular cases. Journalists take, "This is about more than one case." The idea that a president could punish law firms for defending dissenting voices challenges a bedrock legal principle: the right to legal representation without political retaliation. This is why a free legal system matters, and why you should subscribe so you never miss stories like this. This hearing wasn't just about confirming a judge. It was a window into the future of judicial independence, political interference, and the rule of law in America. Whether it's the Federalist Society, Trump's influence, or the right of lawyers to defend unpopular causes, what's at stake is the integrity of the system itself. If this made you think, please subscribe, comment your thoughts below, and help us bring legal clarity to more viewers. Until next time, stay informed and stay critical.